What's up, everybody? Noah Kaser back here for another episode of Noah Kaser Live. Today we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the brand new Hallmark movie called A Whitewater Romance, starring Cindy Busby and Benjamin Hollingsworth, also directed by Jason Bork. We have the brand new release dates for Universal horror films, including Five Nights at Freddy's, Megan 2.0, and a couple more. If and Strangers Chapter 1 reactions have come out. Megalopolis Reviews Are Out because Megalopolis has now premiered at Cannes. Everyone has seen it. Let's get right into those. We also have a brand new news story. Netflix, Peacock, and Apple TV Plus are going to be bundling, just like 3 other streamers did last week, at a very cheaper rate, I might add. Marvel Disney Plus series release dates are now up. We are going to talk about the box office, the Netflix top 10 for today, as well as what is releasing this week in theaters and on streaming. So let's get into the very, very first topic, which is going to be A Whitewater Romance. So Whitewater Romance is the brand new romance film starring Cindy Busby and Benjamin Hollingsworth. Maya attends an exclusive business retreat in the Rocky Mountains where she meets Matt, played by Benjamin Hollingsworth, who initially is her competitor. As they're forced to pair up, an unlikely connection begins to evolve. This is one that I was really looking forward to because I knew about this in advance because I talked to Jason Bork. I've interviewed him a couple times, and he told me that he just got done shooting a film with Cindy Busby. And I was looking forward to this for a little bit of time now. I've known this for a little bit that this was happening. But how was this film overall? I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was anything amazing. Cindy Busby and Benjamin Hollingsworth are trying their best here. Jason Bork did a great job with the direction of the entire film. The issue is it's the script. I love Cindy. I love Benjamin. This is not as good as their last venture together. This is definitely not as good as a God When Christmas Meant for Love by any stretch of the imagination. But I do think this is better than the past couple of Cindy's films, because Cindy has not had the best stretch of films. I love her. I love her to death. But her last couple of films for the Hallmark Channel, besides Everything Christmas, have not been all that great. And what I'm talking about is we have films ranging from Love and Zion National, Marry Me in Yosemite, which is a film I was not all that intrigued with, but I'm just very underwhelmed with what Hallmark has been doing with her. And that's not saying they're doing a bad job with her, not by any means. I mean, check out what she's also been in. She's also been in a ton of great films. I want more from this, though. I want more from Cindy Busby. Cindy Busby deserves better films with better scripts. The director is awesome. Love the dude to death. We have Everything Christmas, Love and Zion National, a national park romance, Marry Me in Yosemite. Warming Up to You was a decent one. I did enjoy her in Chasing Waterfalls, as well as Romance in the Air, Love in the Forecast, A Godwink Christmas Meant for Love. I did enjoy her in My Boyfriend's Back, Wedding March 5. That's not really her and Tyler's film, though. It's more about the main couple. The Darcy films, I enjoy her. I really enjoy her films. Benjamin, very good dude as well. With that being said, though, this movie does nothing for its cast. It does nothing with the script. It's not a very funny film. It's not a cute film. It's more of just a film that's there. I can say I've seen this film. That's about it. Beautiful scenery, good chemistry, good on-screen chemistry between our 2 stars here. We've seen them before in another film, though, so it's not all that surprising that they have good chemistry. It's just this script is a complete mess. I'm not going to talk about this film for too long. Just a quick little review for A Whitewater Romance. So I'm going to give A Whitewater Romance a very generous, a very nice B-. I went with a 3.5 out of 5 on my letterbox, but let's get right into the next topic. And that's my last review for you guys. I'm sorry. This is literally my last review for, well, my first and only review for this show. But I do have news topics. Five Nights at Freddy's gets a December 2025 release dates, as well as Universal shifts 2025 horror release dates. So let's get right into that, shall we? First up, we're going to go into the very exciting topic of Five Nights at Freddy's. I do enjoy Five Nights at Freddy's to a degree. I was not a massive fan of the first one. I thought it was a decent little film. I mean, I thought it was nice. I went to theaters. I paid for it. I wanted to support it, and I did. Let's take a look at what they've done and why I think this is very interesting. So, what they've done here is they have moved dates. But it's not like other companies do. It's not like they move it 6 months. It's not like they move it 4 months and they completely bump other films. What they did here is they bumped Five Nights at Freddy's. Well, they didn't bump it. They landed it in a December 5th, 2025 release date. Is that a strong strategy? We'll take a look at what comes out in 2025 towards that time frame. But we also have Drop, Woman in the Yard, Megan 2.0, and The Black Phone. So, The Woman in the Yard was just added to the calendar on March 28th, while Drop is set for April 11th, 2025. Universal also shifted Megan 2.0. I like Megan. I think it's a decent little horror film. From May 16th to June 27th, and from June 27th to October 17th, moves The Black Phone 2. Five Nights at Freddy's had a very interesting releasing strategy. Their releasing strategy was, let's hide our reviews because we know we don't have a great film on our hands. And they were kind of right. It's not a great film. It's not well made. It's not even really a horror film. It's more of, hey, we're going to bank off of these characters. And they do bank off the characters quite a bit, actually. That's not a bad thing, but you also have to have a good little script. And the good little script they did not have. They had a fun premise with characters that the fans of the games knew. But if you're going to make a movie that's based on games, you have to have a good story with it. And they didn't really focus on the characters a whole lot. That was more of a family drama to me. And with that, I was enjoying that fact, but I remembered, oh yeah, this is a horror film. You're supposed to be creepy and terrifying, and I'm not supposed to see the twist coming. I saw the twist coming in Five Nights at Freddy's, but with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, what will they do here? Matthew Lillard is back. Of course, we know in the post-credit scene, he's back. We also have Josh Hutcherson back. I believe the whole cast is back. Of our main 3. Maybe 4. I'm hoping that we get more, though. I'm hoping we get more. Five Nights at Freddy's, it was a decent little horror film. I want more of a better story, more focused on the horror instead of the family drama aspect of potentially going to court. I enjoy the Five Nights at Freddy's games from what I've seen. I haven't played them personally, but that's just a very interesting topic to me. I really want more from this, but Megan is another topic because Megan is a film that nobody had any interest in. Nobody had any interest in Megan until we saw the trailer. We're like, this could be a very comedic, over-the-top comic take on this robotic doll. It's a evil woman, a evil girl version of Chucky, really. That's what it is. In a way, that's what it is. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I know nothing about Drop. I know nothing about the other two, but I'm interested to see what they do with this. I want more horror films to be better, because this has been a sucky year for horror. Imaginary was awful. We will talk about These Strangers up next. It's not looking promising, though, because this has been a very sucky year for horror. So there's the Five Nights at Freddy's and the Universal talk. Let's take a look at the comments really, really quick, and then we will go into the next topic. So the comments, yep. Hello from the UK. Hello. Welcome. Welcome in. And now we will go into the next topic, which is going to be If and Stranger Chapter 1 reviews are out. I know this is not the only 2 films out. We will be looking at more, but I didn't want to make this a very long title. So, let's get into this. We have a lot of films releasing this week. We will get into the full release week at the very end of this live stream. But If and The Strangers Chapter 1 are the 2 biggest ones releasing in theaters. So we're going to talk about those first. I do plan on seeing If. I do plan on seeing Strangers, but not really films that I am jumping at the chance to see. Like, I'm not jumping up and down for it. It's not a film that I am running to theaters to see. It's a very interesting release week, because let's just take a look at the score for If, and we'll look at the reactions, because this scares me a little bit, because it has kept going down. It's kept going down, and that's scary. When you're a Ryan Reynolds fan, you want his films to be phenomenal. As a defender of something like a Detective Pikachu and something like a, say, I enjoyed his film with The Rock and Gal Gadot. Red Notice? Red Notice. I liked Red Notice, but If is not looking promising. Not a bad score, 56%. This is going to be one that, yeah. A sweet ode to rediscovering one's inner child, If largely works as old-fashioned family entertainment despite an occasionally unfocused, unnecessarily complicated plot. That's not what you want from this. Let's take a look at some of these reviews, because some of these reviews are not all that nice. So we're going to take a look at some of them. We're going to click view all there, and we're going to look at New York Times. The New York Times says, what's more impressive, Krasinski's imagination? Sorry, let's try that again. Krasinski's imagination or the very real friends in his Rolodex? From CNN, it says, If does make the case for finding its fun in life, but in a movie that needs more fun in it than it is. For a positive review, we have Punch Drunk Critics, a sweet and tender film that's uncertain of its target audience. So even that's not an over positive review. Here's another review here from David. Expectations were high going into the screening for If, but the problem with the star-studded voice cast is that it is almost impossible to decipher which actor is attached to which character, and the payoff to the story comes very late. From RogerEbert.com, Clint says, Krasinski's paper-thin script gestures broadly at a kind of mechanical world-bending, but soon throws its hands up in the air and greedily chases one heartstring after another. So, with that being said, this is not a film that's getting overly high praise. Now, this is not one that I am very happy about, because I don't know how critics go from it's half good, half not, to it being a positive score. The dialogue between B and other real-world characters tends toward the obvious, but among the ifs, the movie slants toward something fresher, if not absolute originality. Then at least a dash of imagination. From Australia, Aaron Free says, an eye-popping delight. So this is going to be a very mixed film, I think. I think that audiences are going to really love this. I think they will love this film as a family film. However, if you're going into this expecting a phenomenal film, I don't think you're going to find this. If you're looking for fun, sure, but just look at reviews. Wait for video reviews to come out from, say, an Austin Burke, from a Movies and Munchies, from maybe a Chris Stuckman, if he does one, maybe a Jeremy Johns. See if this is the demographic, because this is not looking promising for If. I do plan on seeing this very, very soon. And I do want to go into the Strangers Chapter 1 reviews, which are not looking promising either. And that disappoints me, because the trailer did a lot for me to get me hyped. I have not seen the first one, but I've seen Pray at Night, and Pray at Night is awful. Chapter 1 has a 21%. Isn't that nice? It's only a 91-minute film. So that's great. That's great. From Deadline Hollywood Daily says, The Strangers Chapter 1 is everything wrong with the horror genre. Oh boy, that gives me so much hype to go and see this. From The Gate, The Strangers Chapter 1 really makes me question my belief in the power of cinema. You truly can't do much worse than this. Wow. That's a scathing review. 1 out of 10. From Paul's Trip to the Movies. Masked strangers are always creepy and can provide a few jump scares. But I don't feel the justification for making this chapter. The filmmakers must have done something right, though, as I am still interested in what's to come in chapters 2 and 3. It's quite possible that breaking from the established story of the 2008 original will open them to bigger and better things. But they need to be much better than this in order to compel audiences back to this world. Let's try and find a positive one, all right? Let's try and... Okay, here we go, from Lindsay. Lindsay says, I'm for now caught between admiring this bold release strategy and the interesting storytelling ability it affords, and wondering if we're pumping out a trilogy under a banner that doesn't allow for it. As horror retreads go, The Strangers Chapter 1 is efficiently grim and satisfying. 3 out of 5. So let's just throw this out there. Many critics are not liking this film, but from what I'm understanding, from the one video review I've seen, from these, it sounds like it's going to be an awful film, but you might be able to have fun with it. You might be able to have fun with it. Let's just look a little bit more. I want to look a little bit more. From Tessa at Mama's Geeky. Pays great homage to the original while delivering something new. Sets up for what should be an interesting and edge of your seat trilogy. From IndieWire. Yes, the masks are great. And yes, home invasions will always be scary. But when it comes to messing with genre classics, your answer to why remake a near-perfect film can't be, it was here. Mark Olson says the original Strangers made the walk to the parking lot after feel weird, or inspired some securing of doors and windows at home. Not so with the route stylings of the new film. From Benjamin. Okay, let's see. From Benjamin, yeah. Do we have any more positives? Okay. From Michael. Time will tell. But for now, there's enough reason for devotees of the series to be cautiously optimistic, or even a little curious about the next 2 chapters. William Bibiani. A pat retread of all the violence from the original film, with no emotional investment and no creativity in the mayhem department. Richard Roper, a all-time great film critic. I love this dude. The Strangers Chapter 1 is a well-paced 91-minute thrill ride that provides a steady helping of jump scares while ending on a note that had us eagerly anticipating the next chapters in the saga. So we've seen the reviews for this. I'm interested to see what you guys think. So what do you think about this? And we're going to take a look at the comments, and then we'll go into the next topic, which is more reviews have come out for a Cannes film. But let's take a look at this. Abigail is a very, very good film. I'm not sure if it's released in the UK yet, but I think it's a very interesting film. It's very fun, very, very bloody, gory, great cast. My first live stream with you. Well, welcome in. Thank you. I know it's getting late over there, so I appreciate you staying up for this stream. Comment down below what you think of everything I'm talking about, or just the ones you're interested in. From Cal L Daily. Okay, and that's the beautiful thing about films, man. He disagrees about Pray at Night. It's a love letter to the slasher genre, all the homage to Texas Chainsaw and others. I cannot agree, but I'm glad you like it. I'm really glad you like it. If this movie worked for you, that is the best thing in the world. I'm so glad a film that I dislike works for you, and that's the best thing about film, man. Next up, we have he would prefer a sequel to that. That's understandable. And then Strangers is a classic, a perfect film. Since when? I think it's up to the person, just because with a person's taste in film, I've heard a lot of people say that Strangers is becoming a newer classic that everyone is starting to catch up with. If you're someone who was born in maybe like 2005, 2006, 2007, it's starting to become a classic film for people to sit down and watch, because let's just admit it, guys, that was 16 years ago. We're going on 16 years since Strangers came out. I remember watching TV as a kid. I was 10 years old. I was watching my wrestling shows, and they showed that. They showed that trailer, and I'm like, that's looks creepy. I'll probably never see that film. But then I grew up, and I still haven't seen the film. I'm probably going to do a double feature with Strangers and Strangers Pray at Night before I see Strangers Chapter 1. I'm not sure if I'm seeing that in theaters, though. Next up, we have Never Heard That Take, my first time hearing. And that's the great thing. This whole entire film circle, everybody has different opinions. And with the younger crowd, they're starting to just discover this film. So they've never heard of it. Maybe their family had it before they were even born. Now they're having sleepovers. It's becoming a sleepover movie. It's becoming a good date movie. If you need a nice little time to sit down with your girlfriend and watch a creepy film, The Strangers is probably one that's very easy. It's very short. It's something everybody knows now. And I think it's a nice one to bring up. But I'm glad it worked for you. I just wish it worked for me. And 100%, man, I agree with you. I love that we're having this discussion because a lot of people are not very respectful in the film space. We need a lot more love in this space. We can have a lot of different opinions, and that's awesome. That's awesome that we have completely different opinions on this film, but we're having a nice diplomatic conversation and not talking down to each other because after all, it's just films. It's just films, guys. But Kal-El, I'm glad you enjoyed this film. I'm interested to see what you think of this film when you see Strangers Chapter 1, if you even plan on seeing it. And yes, 16 years. Yeah. Yeah. Where's the time gone, guys? I don't know. And one more comment before we move on to the next topic. Respected discussions always the way to go. Exactly right, Kal-El. And let me know what you think of this topic up next, because we will be going into one that is not one I'm excited for. I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't seen a lot of this director's films, but I've seen his major one. Megalopolis Reviews Are Out. This has now premiered at Cannes. So, this movie is one that everyone's been talking about. Everyone's been highly anticipating it only because it's Francis Ford Coppola. You have a stellar cast in this film, and I get why people are excited. I really, really do. I'm happy they're excited. I'm so happy that they are excited. The issue is we're going to get something where it's going to divide people. This movie is going to divide people. That's phenomenal. But not in the way that I've been hearing. I've been hearing that this film is a very messy film, and that's not what I want to hear. That's not what I want to hear from a Francis Ford Coppola film. From all the films he's done, which we will take a quick look at in just a minute, we will take a look at this. And this is coming from Deadline. Let me pull this up here. This is coming from Deadline. What are critics saying about Megalopolis? Megalopolis. After months of speculation, the critical book has finally been opened on Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis. The word largely positive with some very high highs and inevitably a few low lows. So let's take a look at this. Deadlines. Damon Weiss praised the film, calling it a mad modern masterwork that reinvents the possibilities of cinema. He said the film is something of a mess, unruly, exaggerated, and drawn to pretension like a moth to a flame. It is also, however, a pretty stunning achievement. The work of a master artist who has taken to IMAX. Oh, okay. Yep. He continued that halfway through. A very audacious gimmick that tears down the fourth wall in ways that younger filmmakers can only dream of. Coppola breaks many of the cardinal rules of filmmaking in the film's 138 minutes, but it upholds the most important one. It is never ever boring. And it will inspire just as many artists as the audience it will alienate. Let's take a look at a couple more of these. We're going to take a look at this from the Daily Telegraph. Gave the movie 4 stars, saying, Coppola's latest is like Succession crossed with Batman Forever and a lava lamp. Aubrey Plaza is fantastic in this full-body sensory sensory bath movie, which follows a struggle for power among the elites in New Rome. So, those are a couple positive reviews. I've also seen a couple negative reviews. So, we're going to take a look at the Letterboxd score for this, because this is one that I think is going to be polarizing for people. You're either going to be completely immersed in this film, or it's just going to automatically lose you. Right now, this film has a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. 53%. That's not a great score, especially for a Francis Ford Coppola movie. So we're going to take a look at the reviews from The Hollywood Reporter, as well as The Guardian, The New York Times, Variety, and the Los Angeles Times, and much, much more. So let's take a look at those very, very quickly. And then we will move into the next topic after we look at some more comments. So taking a look at these reviews, we have David Rooney from Hollywood Reporter says, I can't say I was always engaged for its 2-hour plus runtime, but I was always curious about where it was going next. Is it a good movie? Not by a long stretch, but it's one that can easily be dismissed either. I read that completely wrong. But it's not one that can be easily dismissed either. There we go. From the Los Angeles Times, Joshua says, once you let go of the understandable dream of Coppola returning with another masterpiece, there is much to enjoy in Megalopolis, especially its cast members, leaning into their moments with an abandon that was probably a job requirement. Guardian, Peter Bradshaw says, this is a passion project without passion, a bloated, boring, and bafflingly shallow film full of high school valedictorians. I'm not good at reading today, guys. Let's take a look at this. From the New York Times and Vulture, Megalopolis might be the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy every single batshit second of it. Variety says, Megalopolis is anything but lazy. And while some of the ideas don't pan out as planned, this is the kind of late career statement devotees wanted from the Maverick, who never lost his faith in cinema. We're going to go down here to a negative review from Ion Cinema from Nicholas Bell. Said, at worst, Megalopolis feels somewhat agonizing to sit through. At its best, it's quite boring. So he didn't like it very much. David from IndieWire says, with Megalopolis, Francis Ford Coppola crams 85 years worth of artistic reverence and romantic love into a clunky, garish, and transcendently sincere manifesto about the role of an artist at the end of an empire. Rolling Stone says, it is exactly the movie that Coppola set out to make. Uncompromising, uniquely intellectual, unabashedly romantic, broadly satirical, yet remarkably sincere about wanting not just brave new worlds, but better ones. So, I do want to check out the Vanity Fair one, because Vanity Fair is a big site. It's a big critic. This is the junkiest of junk drawer films, of junk drawer movies. A slap-together hash of Coppola's many desperate inspirations. What really tanks the movie, though, is its datedness. So there's the reviews for Megalopolis, which just premiered at Cannes Film Festival. So how's this film going to do? Well, first off, it does not have a distributor yet. And it's being said that no major distributor is going to pick up this film. That's a shame. But IMAX is picking this up to show in theaters without a major distributor. So with that being said, I don't think that's a bad thing. I always think it's nice to have IMAX on your side. But then again, it's going to be major film buffs going to see this film first, I think. This is not going to be a big film. This will not be $300, $400, $500 million film. This film may not even break $200, $300 million. It just depends on how wide it goes, how many theaters carry it, and it's just going to go from there. So there is the Megalopolis reviews. And next we're going to move on to the comments. Kal-El says it's a Black Friday purchase. Honestly. Okay, cool. I feel old. Yeah. Everyone has different tastes in movies. Yes, they do. I mean, I'm one of the few people who really got some enjoyment out of the new John Cena and Alison Brie film, Freelance. So I'm one of the few people who really enjoyed it. I really am. I am really, really, really into a John Cena film because I am really looking forward to seeing what this guy does in the movies because he's a good actor. He's a really good actor. Is he one of the best in the world? By all means, no. He's not a phenomenal actor, but he knows his roles. You got to give him a good director so they can push him through. With those types of films, I'm expecting a dumb, fun action film, and that's exactly what I had fun with. Was the stupid action, the R-rated humor. I really enjoyed it. So let's move on to the next topic, which is one that I am looking forward to. Because this is going to be about Netflix, Peacock, and Apple TV Plus cheaper bundle. This is a very, very good deal. So last week, we had 3 more streamers come on and add a very interesting take to the streaming wars. Because it was supposed to be, okay, let's pull these guys together. Let's pull these 3 together. And now, this is coming from CBS News. Comcast unveils streaming bundle that includes Apple TV Plus, Peacock, and Netflix. All 3 will be in one bundle. And it says here, Comcast CEO Brian Roberts didn't specify a price for the bundle, which will be called Stream Saver, but said it will be a vastly reduced compared to the other streaming services. I hope so, because if you look at something like Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix, you're easily paying $25. You're paying $25 a month. Unless you do the yearly plan with Peacock like I do. I pay $50, $60 a year for my Peacock, and I do the Apple TV Plus and Netflix monthly. I need to start using Apple TV Plus more and watching their series, and Netflix I use quite a bit. I think this is very interesting. Here we go. Apple TV Plus alone now costs $9.99 a month, up from $6.99 last year. NBC's Peacock, which was launched in July 2020, now costs $5.99 a month. Has 34 million paid subscribers. It also includes programming from Bravo, Hallmark, WWE, NBC Sports, and NBC, among other channels. Netflix continues to reign supreme with more than 260 million global subscribers. Monthly subscribers run from $6.99 to $22.99. I pay the $15.99 plan. So, if you do this, if you do all of this, let me do some quick math here, because I am very interested to see what we're going to be at here. So let's not even worry about the tax, right? So that's $9.99. $9.99 plus $5.99 plus, let's just say you do the $15.99 like I do. You're paying $31.97 a month. So if you can bring that down to 20, 22, 23, I think that's a good deal. I really think that's a very good deal. Because last week, Disney and Warner Bros., they came together and said that they will have Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max all on one service. So you're going to have Disney Plus originals, Hulu originals, as well as ABC, CNN, DC, Discovery, Disney, Food Network, FX, HBO, HGTV, Hulu, Marvel, Pixar, Searchlight, and Warner Bros. All under one banner. Is it going to be one app? More than likely not. But I think that's a very interesting thing that all the streamers are doing. Because if you look at that, that just tells you that they're not all making money. Disney Plus has become profitable. Netflix just became profitable. Running a streaming service is not easy. I don't even know if Peacock is profitable, but I know it has a massive library, and a lot of people mainly watch Peacock because of one show or another. The only reason that we have Peacock at my house is because of the WWE. We have it because of the WWE. I'm not even going to lie. We only have it because of the WWE programming. We watch the pay-per-views. Sometimes I do go back and watch the original WWE Network shows. I really enjoy those, especially like a ride-along or a table for three. I really enjoy those. A lot of people have it for The Office and Parks and Rec. I watched some That 70s Show and 2.5 Men on there. I really enjoyed that. I like The Office as well. I have not seen Parks and Rec. I need to get on that. I know. But Netflix has a bunch of other stuff. The biggest library, I think, the second biggest probably has to go to Disney Plus and Hulu now, because I was looking through their stuff and they got a ton of stuff on there now. But what do you think about Netflix, Peacock, and Apple TV Plus coming together? You can have under one payment plan, you can have your Stranger Things, you can have your Witcher, you can have your WWE, your Office, your Parks and Rec, your Ted Lasso, and your tons of other shows under one banner. What do you think about that? And let me know your thoughts down below. We also have some more release dates coming up from Marvel. Marvel had a presentation somewhere in the world. I'm not quite sure where it was. I do know they have D23 coming up, so hopefully they save something for that. I'm sure they saved something for it. But they have new dates and, well, teases of dates for brand new shows. We have Agatha All Along, Daredevil Born Again, as well as Ironheart. So there's a new slate of Marvel shows coming to Disney Plus soon. During Disney's upfront presentation, Marvel Studios revealed that Agatha All Along will be flying onto the streamer on September 18th. 2 episodes will be available at launch, with episodes becoming weekly thereafter. Meanwhile, audiences can expect Daredevil Born Again in March 2025. Ironheart is also coming in 2025 as well, though the studio didn't say when exactly to expect that series. Kathryn Hahn is going to be reprising her role as Agatha Harkness for the upcoming WandaVision spinoff, which Disney Plus has already teased. With the Blu-ray release of WandaVision, Marvel Studios snuck a little preview of the spinoff, where Hahn and the creators spoke out about the making of the series, claiming there's nothing more delicious. This is one that everybody is excited for, I think, because what they did, right? What they did with this, what they did with WandaVision is something that I didn't think they'd do. They made the best Marvel show ever. It's the best Marvel show, in my opinion. If you think it's the Captain America and the Winter Soldier, if you think it's Echo, if you think it's She-Hulk, if you think it's Loki, whatever it is, definitely your opinion. That's awesome. I loved WandaVision. I got up early every freaking week and I watched it religiously. I love that show. It's probably the best thing that the MCU has done besides Spider-Man and Guardians in a while. I did enjoy Black Panther, Wakanda Forever a lot as well, but I think that's very interesting that we get it in September. They have had a very interesting release strategy with this as well, because we have had a ton of different names, all the way from Agatha Harkness to Agatha. What were a couple of these other names here? We had Agatha, Agatha Darkhold Diaries. We had a ton of other names, and I don't quite understand. I don't quite understand what they were doing until I was watching the John Campea show earlier, and someone said, I believe it was yesterday, that someone brought up, what if they did that because it was Agatha All Along, and what if those are episode titles that they were teasing as well? So that's very interesting. I think that's the best title for it, is Agatha All Along, because it got millions of views on YouTube, on all the streaming, on all the social medias, because it's a very catchy song. It's very, very catchy. So there's what I think about it. Ironheart, I don't know much about Ironheart. I am looking forward to Daredevil a lot. Daredevil, we got a taste of him in Spider-Man. I think we got a taste of him as well in She-Hulk, a little bit in Echo as well, I think. Well, maybe not Echo. I can't remember the last time we saw him, but we haven't gotten a good taste of him yet. So let's take a look at the comments here real quick. I do have Netflix and Disney Plus as well. 2. Wow. 2 UK free streaming services, ITVX and all 4, but still like physical media better than streaming. I honestly do agree. I mean, if I'm going to watch something like Madam Web or The Beekeeper, I want it to be on a physical disc, but sometimes I'm just lazy and I like having the digital code. If it's streaming on Netflix and I don't want to get off my butt and pop in a disc, automatically. She-Hulk was so bad, I didn't even try it, man. I heard it wasn't all that great, so I just passed on it. And then we have Welcome in, Mike. Welcome in. Great, as always, to have you here. Check out his channel, Mike Reviews and Analysis. What do you think about Disney getting involved in Doctor Who? I think that's very smart because with him, Doctor Who hasn't been around since the 50s or 60s, right? So if you want all that content on there, you have years to pull from. You have years to pull from. You can get different series on there. You can pay all the rights you want. It's very, very smart because you're bringing all the subscribers over just for that one show. And if they haven't seen like a WandaVision, if they haven't seen The Mandalorian, if they haven't seen something like, what's one major thing on there right now? Let's say that the Marvel series and the Marvel shows don't come to Blu-ray or DVD anymore. That's the place to see them. You keep them with you. You keep all Marvel, all Star Wars, all Disney stuff is there. So if someone who is with kids, they have 4, 5, and 6-year-olds, if they have a daycare, they can just shove on Disney Plus and put on a parental guidance now because now they have the Hulu. You're pretty safe now with what you can air on Disney Plus because you can have everything from Bluey to your old kids TV shows to your Disney animated classics to your Marvel, your Star Wars, and now Doctor Who. This will open up a whole new audience to Doctor Who as well. So it's not just the Doctor Who audience coming in. It's the other audiences who didn't know anything about Doctor Who. They see that's a new show and they want to give it a shot. That is completely awesome. It's awesome that they're doing that. I think it's a smart thing too, because a lot of people didn't know when the Doctor Who's aired here in America. I believe they aired on BBC America, and they never did anything besides on their own channel to do much of publicity. So very, very, very good question. That's a very good question because I know that's a big thing. That was a big thing when they came over to Disney Plus, and I think it's going to be very good for them. I'm not a fan myself, but to each their own. To be fair, I haven't really been giving it a shot because I don't know where to start with the Doctor Who series, because I know there's like, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12 doctors now. I'm not quite sure. But that's my thoughts on that. You're welcome, man. Check out his channel, everybody. Get him to, let's get him to 300 subscribers. I believe he's not at 300 subscribers yet, so let's get him at 300 subscribers. And for the next and last 3 topics, we do these every single week. We're going to look at the box office results. The box office results have not been going in the studio's favor as of recently, but I think that's going to change here very, very soon because of the release schedule. So we're going to pull up the numbers, and we're going to look at them this way, because I use 2 different sites. I use the numbers and I use Box Office Mojo. Some of their numbers are very, very different. And that's not a bad thing. That's really not a bad thing. It's just I prefer to look at this because Box Office Mojo on Sundays is a little bit slow sometimes. And the numbers gets them up about, I don't know, 11:30 to noon, around that time frame. So let's take a look at what the box office did last week and what is the big significance this week. So last week we had Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes making $58.4 million at the domestic box office. That's not a great return, but that's not awful either. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is doing very, very well worldwide at 145 million. So right now, worldwide, it's made 145 million, almost 50% here. This is obviously going to go down. It's probably going to go down to, I want to say, 59, 60%. You don't want to see a 60 or below percent drop. Well, anything below 60% isn't great, but we'll see how much staying power this has, because with all the films coming out in May and June, that's when you really got to be careful, because I don't know how much rewatchability factor in theaters this will have. Once it comes to Blu-ray, then eventually I think this will get better traction on like a Netflix, or eventually if it comes to Peacock or a Max, somewhere around there. I think that's probably going to be its big landing spot, but that's a great number for an Apes film. The Fall Guy made $13.6 million, and it's at $107.5 million. That's not a great box office return, especially for The Fall Guy. I did see The Fall Guy. I was going to do a review on it, but it's a couple weeks old at this point, and I really don't think that I need to give a full review on it. I liked it. It's a decent little film. I give it 4 out of 5. Fun action, but I thought it was a little bit slower in like the second and third acts. Some of the jokes really didn't work, but I enjoyed the fun action, and I enjoyed seeing how films were made. The chemistry between Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt was phenomenal. I loved their relationship. I want more of them together. I kind of knew that they were going to have phenomenal comedic chemistry, but also romantic chemistry when we saw them doing that one category at the Oscars. Challengers took a 42% drop, so that's not doing all that phenomenal, but it has made $70 million. I don't know how much that film cost to make, but 4.3 on your third weekend isn't great. But for a film like this that didn't open very, very wide, it didn't open at like 4,000 theaters. So it was still a wider film, but still. Tarot not doing great at the box office. It's at 21 million. It did break even, but for a film like this, you want to see at least 50 to 60 million to really call it a success. Even 40 million is going to be a good turnout for that film. I don't even know if that's going to make 30 million. Maybe 35 at the top most. And then Godzilla x Kong is moving up there, almost at $560 million worldwide. All the way down here at the bottom, Dune 2 is leaving theaters. It's leaving theaters very, very soon. Understandably so, because it was number one on VOD. It probably still is. But $710 million is not that bad. That's a good turnout. That's probably going to be one of the biggest films of the entire year. Now, this is not a surprise. None Other Church movie opened sort of wide at 1,108 theaters. Not great. Made $391,767. Or, sorry, $776. That's not a great turnout. I heard the movie wasn't all that good anyways. Looking down here at everything else, this is always fun to go down here when you see something like They Shot the Piano Player making $97 at one theater. It's very interesting how many theaters are only playing this movie. How this movie is only playing at one theater, because I've had that happen before. I've had that happen before where everyone's like, I don't really know what this film is, but I would like to go and check it out. And I appreciate that a lot. So there's the box office results for this week, and we'll check out next week. So let's take a look at the comments. The comments are right here. Yes, here we go. Mike's Reviews and Analysis You're welcome, dude. The BBC America, yes. Okay, we're at 14 doctors. That's very nice to know. I'm looking forward to seeing the new Planet of the Apes movie. I'm a big fan of the original movies as well. The only one I've seen is Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and I remember seeing that in theaters. So, there is that. Now we will go and look at the Netflix top 10. The Netflix top 10 is something I like to look at because you just literally do not know. You literally do not know what you're going to see on here at times. So let's take a look at what we have here. We will take a look at what is number 1 on Netflix and go from there. What has changed since last week? Well, number 1 has changed. And number 1, I know that Cam's going to be very happy about this. It's Madam Web. Madam Web is number 1. That's not surprising, though. When Madam Web came out in theaters, that movie did not make much money. It didn't look very good. And it's not a great movie. It is not a great movie. I enjoy it for what it is, really. I mean, I don't think it's one of the worst films of the year. I think it's a bad film. But do I want to watch it again? Yeah, so thus I bought the Blu-ray and I have the digital. But it's on Netflix. People who didn't want to go and see it, this could get a cult following. We don't know. This could get a cult following. Next up, we have Mother of the Bride. I'm not surprised that that's still at number 2. A very good cast. I loved that movie. I loved Mother of the Bride. Shrek is number 3. Shrek will be on lists for a while whenever it eventually comes back to a Netflix or a Hulu or a Prime or a Peacock. It's always going to be in the top 10 because everybody loves Shrek. The Courier from 2019, I believe, is at number 4. Shrek Forever After the Final Chapter at number 5. Number 6, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. That's never going to leave the list. I think that's just a big film with kids and families. It's a big rewatchability factor, too, with that. Madagascar 2, Escape to Africa. I remember seeing that in theaters. I didn't love it. I hate to say it, I didn't love it. 8 is War Dogs. I've not seen War Dogs, so I'll have to add that to my watch list. I know that has a decent cast to it. The Judge, phenomenal film at number 9. If you have not seen The Judge, I don't know what you're doing. I know it's not a phenomenally loved film, but this should have gotten a lot more love. I really think it should have gotten a lot more love. I enjoy The Judge. It's a good film, not very rewatchable, but then again, with something like that story, it's not meant to be rewatchable. It's meant to be one where you witness it. It's a story about a father and son. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. It has some funny moments in it that lighten the tension a little bit, but it's a very serious film. Unfrosted at number 10. That's going to leave the top 10 very, very soon, I think. We will get into why in just a minute, but I do want to look at the TV shows as well, because why not? Why not look at this? I have not seen any of these, by the way. Ashley Madison's Sex, Lies, and Scandal is number 1. That's only a 3-episode miniseries, so I might check that at some point. The Roast of Tom Brady, I do want to see that, as well as Kevin Hart, the Mark Twain Prize of Comedy. Baby Reindeer, Bodkin at number 5. 6 is A Man in Full. I would like to see that. That is on my list. Cooking Up Murder. Very intrigued about that one. Bridgerton, me and the girlfriend did start that. However, the sound was not working on the TV, so what we're probably going to do is we might just watch that episode again, or I might watch it by myself, and we just go like that. Cat Williams' Woke Folk. I did watch most of that. I woke up early one morning, and I fell asleep to this. It was pretty funny. He's very funny dude. I like him, and Reba is at number 10. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I am looking forward to seeing what else comes out. But next up is going to be the final topic for today's show, and that is what's releasing this week in theaters and on streaming. That's a very good question, because this is a very loaded week. This is not like last week where there was nothing. Nil. There was maybe one thing out, and that's it. And even I didn't go and see the movie in theaters yet. I want to go and see the Planet of the Apes film. I probably will. I just need to see it. But I will be seeing If as well. So, from Dark Sky Films, we have Faceless After Dark, a brand new horror film. So that is one that I'm interested in seeing. We have You Can Run for. Sorry, yeah, You Can't Run Forever. I know what this is now. It's all about Miranda, a young woman already suffering from acute anxiety due to a past tragedy, faces a new terror when a serial killer chooses her as his new target. In a harrowing hunt through the woods, Miranda finds strength she never knew she had as she tries to elude her murderous tracker. Academy Award winner J.K. Simmons stars in a spine-chilling thriller about the strength of family and astonishing power of the human spirit. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. I'll probably rent that one in a week or two. We have Taking Venice, probably going to limited theaters on VOD, and limited theaters is The American. Probably not a film up my alley, but if you're into ballet, probably up your alley. The big films, however, is Strangers Chapter 1. We just looked at the reviews for that. I will be watching Thelma the Unicorn, and I'll have my review of Thelma the Unicorn next week, as well as my review for If. Babes is coming to theaters. I know a couple people who saw this early. It was a AMC Screen Unseen thing. They showed it like a week and a half early, or maybe it was this past Monday. I can't remember. The Bad Guardian comes to Lifetime. I know that has Melissa Joan Hart in it, so I am going to be recording that one, and I may get to it this week. We'll see. Next up is where is it? Where is it? Is it just going wide this week? Yes. Back to Black is going wide this week. In theaters, we have The Beach Boys, but it is coming to Max on May 24th. If you don't want to pick up the Blu-ray for Dune Part 2 and you want to see it on streaming first, check it out. It's going to be on Max May 21st. I love that movie. My favorite movie of the entire year. I can't wait until I get paid to pick that up. And now we will go into the next week as well. Blue Angels is a documentary that's going to be in theaters this week, but it comes to Amazon Prime next week on the 23rd. A sequel to In Good Hands, In Good Hands 2 comes to Netflix on the 23rd. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. I don't know if my theater is going to get that. I think my theater is, however, going to get Garfield. It'd be very interesting if they got both, but I don't see them getting Mad Max over Garfield mostly because it is Memorial Day weekend. It's going into Memorial Day weekend, so this is going to be a very well-attended film for families. If your kids are just getting out of school, you need something to do with them on the weekend, you got this. Disney Plus will again be having the Beach Boys. I will be checking that out because I do like a few of their songs. Mr. Manhattan is a great American family, but a great American pure flicks film starring Alexa Penavega and Carlos Penavega. We also have Atlas starring Jennifer Lopez on Netflix. I will be reviewing that one. The brand new Angel Studios film Sight comes to theaters. My Oni Girl on Netflix is a brand new anime film. And is that it? That is it looks like, because after that, it's just a lot of DVD and Blu-ray news, like the Criterion for Anatomy of a Fall, the DVD of No Way Up, the Blu-ray and DVD of Sasquatch Sunset, Art of the King, a DVD for The Tiger's Apprentice. Why can't we get At Midnight on DVD? That romance film was a very good film. I enjoyed that one. A Blu-ray re-release of Into the Blue, The Girl in the Trunk, One Love. Oh, that's good to know. Unsung Hero comes to VOD on the 28th. Damaged comes to DVD and Blu-ray. Sleeping Dogs comes to DVD. The Legend of Cat Claw's Mountain. Blu-ray DVD for In the Land of Saints and Sinners. Blu-ray for Knox Goes Away. The Bricklayer finally gets a Blu-ray and DVD. Going back to theaters for its 30th anniversary of The Crow. This is what I'm very interested in here. Movie Pass, Movie Crash. That is very interesting because Movie Pass had a very interesting past, to put it nicely. VOD for The First Omen will be on the 28th, but it will be coming to Hulu on the 30th. So if you don't want to pay for it, like I really don't have much interest in the film, but it's coming to Hulu on May 30th. And we might as well finish off the rest of the month, May 31st, in a violent nature, as well as The Young Wife going to theaters and VOD. Jim Henson, Idea Man on Disney Plus going to theaters is Summer Camp and Young Woman and the Sea. Summer Camp has a phenomenal cast, guys. Come on now. Kathy Bates, Diane Keaton, Beverly D'Angelo, Josh Peck, Eugene Levy. How can you not want to see that? Alfred Woodard, East Bay. What else do we have coming out? Doesn't look like there's a whole ton coming out, guys, throughout the rest of the month. Ezra, I do want to see that one, but that's probably going to go limited, as will these three here. Deer Camp 86 and The Dead Don't Hurt, as well as Robot Dreams. So there's everything coming out, guys. Oh, well, I'll give you a little bit of a taste. The Fall Guy comes to VOD on June 3rd, as well as June 2nd and 3rd. The Muppet Movie goes back to theaters for its 45th anniversary. So there is everything, guys. Do we have any comments before we end this live stream? We do not. So there is everything. Wow. 3 comments just popped up. They just popped up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's 1 a.m. in UK. Bye. Oh, yeah. Definitely go to bed, man. Thanks for stopping in. Hey. Oh, okay. Cool. Hey, I just joined. When is Five Nights at Freddy's 2 releasing? Sorry, don't want to be rude. No pressure at all, man. Thanks for asking that question. I want to get rid of this banner first. So we will talk about that again, because I know that was at the very, very beginning of the video. So let's go over that again. Thank you for asking that question. It will be releasing on December 5th of 2025. So we'll go over this again. It releases in December 5th, 2025, as Universal has also moved a lot of other of their horror ones. The Woman in the Yard was added to the calendar on March 28th, 2025. While drop is set for April 11th, 2025, Universal also shifted Megan 2.0 to May 16th from May 16th, 2025 to June 27th, 2025, and The Black Phone 2 from June 27th and October 17th. So, again, Five Nights at Freddy's goes to December 5th. Woman in the Yard goes to March 28th. Drop will release on April 11th, 2025. Megan 2.0 moves from May 16th to June 27th, 2025. And The Black Phone will move from June 27th, 2025 to October 17th, 2025. So there is everything, guys. Thank you guys for stopping in. And I want to thank everybody for coming on. No problem, man. That is awesome. Thank you for stopping in. And thank all of you guys for stopping in. Like this video, comment down below. A bit of a longer live show this time, but we had a lot of topics. Next week, we'll have a few more reviews. I will have my review for the brand new Hallmark film, Everything Puppies, as well as potentially Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and If, Thelma the Unicorn, and maybe a couple more here and there. But oh yeah, there is a Hallmark film that just came out on Hallmark Movies Now called Tip Line Murders. I can't remember the tagline. It's Dial something, I think. Dial something. I can't quite remember. But anyways, and the 2 Gray American Pure Flix films will also be reviewed at some point in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So there is everything, guys. I will see all of you guys next time.